Hey everybody, welcome to Gotcha Rocks. Today we're going to be cutting up a piece of Thulite that I brought back from Norway. And Thulite is a translucent, crystalline, or massive pink manganese-bearing variety of the mineral zoisite. Wow, that is a mouthful. Anyways, it's a really pretty stone with some pinks and whites. And I'm going to show you how to cut it up and polish it today. This is our piece of Thulite. And this was a piece that I brought back from Norway, and this was given to me by Gerlinda, who is in one of the villages that we visited. And so we're going to cut this piece up and make a couple gifts for her, a couple cabochons. Now you'll notice on this that there's the nice pink that's all around here, and then you can see all these little white spots, and that's a calcite that's in there. So the calcite is going to be slightly softer than the pink portion of the sort of the zoisite that's been changed there as far as color. So we want to use the right wheel so that we don't basically wreck all the nice white patterning and things like that. So we're going to walk through all the stages for cutting this particular type of stone. Each stone is a little bit different, so I thought this would be interesting for you, and it's a wonderful stone once it's finished. All right, so here I want to just kind of figure out where I want to cut this. And what I'm thinking is we have this nice flat spot here. We're going to cut this with our trim saw, something like along these lines here. So I'm going to just kind of, it might be in between. But I want to just have this, I'm just using a regular pencil. You can also use an aluminum pencil, which is just a piece of aluminum wire and you scratch it on there. But pencil works great for me. So I'm just putting this on here so I have some sort of guide of where I want to cut. And so that should give me a couple nice cabochons here and here. So we're going to go back to the trim saw and cut it right now. Okay, great. We are at the trim saw. I'm using a high-tech diamond saw here. And this is the brand here. Mine has adjustable speed, so I can go slow or fast. I usually have it about right at the 6th level here, especially when I'm cutting jaspers and things like that. So that's it for that. You know, you'll feel it once you're cutting if it's not fast enough. So I'm just going to line this up, and we're going to feed it into this blade. This is a 6-inch blade with about a 2.5-inch cutting surface here. And we're going to make sure that we have our guard down. I'm just using regular water in this trim saw. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm gently going to feed this through like so, and get a nice slice that we can then turn into a cabochon. I do sell these. If you're interested, just get a hold of me and I'll make sure you get the best price. All right, here we go. That's set about 6 on the speed. So we're going to gently push this through. I'm using my pencil as my guideline. Here we go. Look at that. What a beautiful piece. Isn't that nice? That would be an outside piece. This is the inside piece. So we can really expect this to be really pretty once we cut it up and turn it into a cab. All right, let's cut another one. I'm going to turn the speed up just a little bit towards the end. It was starting to grab a little bit, so I'm going to turn it up as high as it'll go. Here we go. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, I'm going to cut this one also like this so I can get 2 cabs out of that one. Okay, here we go. This will go a lot faster once we have it kind of cut down to a manageable piece here. Nice. Alright, I'm going to do the same with this one as well. Kind of pick a spot in the middle. Okay, let's go over to the cab machine and I'll show you that, and we'll start making this into some beautiful polished stones. All right, here we are. We have a template if you need one of these. I often will just kind of guess, but if you need to make something exact, you can always use a template. This one has double, so you just kind of put it in, pinch it down, and then I'm using a permanent marker here. Like this, just go around a few times. I'll just use this strictly as a guideline. So when I pull this out, I have something that looks like that. So I'm not going to hold myself to that exact shape, but this is how you would do it. I just thought I would show you that. This here is our dot pot. This is a Dopping wax, which is like a sealing wax that they used to use for letters and things like that. And this whole rim here heats up to, I want to say it's around 180 to 200 some degrees, could be a little higher. It is hot, so I put the stones on the edge here and I warm them up, and then what I do is I take, this is a dopping stick, which is just a dowel rod. Alright, so I have the stone warmed up, and we take our stick here. I'm just going to put a little bit right on the top here. And I will say, just so you guys know, I will often not even use dop sticks, but I figured I would show this to you. Some people are not a fan of having the tips of their fingers ground off. It doesn't seem to bother me too much. So we're going to heat this up a little bit. Keep that going. And if you need to see a full video on how to do this, I do have one on my channel, so just check that out. I'll put the link up above so you can click on that if you need to see it. Okay, so I'm going to just let this go for a little bit. These are 2 pieces here that we're going to work with. I'll try to show you the best that I can on what this is going to turn out to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. All right, to actually turn this into a cab, we're going to use my Cab King machine here. I do sell these on the website if you're interested in getting one. They run about right around $1,400. So, and that's about the lowest we can move them out for. So if you're interested in one of these, I have videos on how to set these up and all kinds of things. But for that matter, we are going to be working with the wheels that are 80 grit, 220, 280, and then we're going to come over here to a 600 grit wheel, 1200, and then go to a 3000. Then here on the side, which is not attached yet, we're going to put a polishing wheel. So we're going to start out with the 80 grit wheel and just like really frame this into its proper shape. So I showed you how to use a template, and I'm going to show you what I normally do, which is just kind of go like this. Use your drawing skills, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, just to give yourself something to work with. Now normally you could go back to the trim saw and cut these pieces off, but we're just going to grind them off in this example. Okay, here we go. All right, we're turning our machine on, and this particular machine has a water feed that's down below. It doesn't, it's just a little pump. It goes in a bucket of water, and we're going to turn this on, and the water will start to come out. So it's got this nice little handy light here. There it is. So we want lots of water for this particular one, okay? So we want to keep the stone as cool as possible as we're cutting. That will also protect your wheels. So here we go. It's a little noisy. Now I'm applying a decent amount of pressure, but not so much that it's actually going to slow down the wheel. But you can see how fast that just went down, right? So I'll do it again here. Okay, pretty easy so far. I'm going to turn my water up a little bit more. There we go. All right, so that's eating it up pretty fast, so that's nice. It's going to be easy to cut. So you can definitely tell there's some calcite in there. All right, now we're going to do this other corner. All right, so we're getting a nice edge here. That's what we want, all the way around, and you can see where it goes to this other part. Just kind of gnarly there. So let's fix that. And for the most part, I'm usually trying to apply pressure and then roll it up into the wheel as opposed to going this way. So just keep that in mind. I'm just trying to get rid of this little spot right here. So one thing you could do is, if you wanted, you could pop this off the dop stick and flip it around and make this your cabochon top. But for this, I'm just going to keep going, just as an example. All right, I've smoothed that side out, so now I just need to worry about the oval portion of this. And I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. That's looking pretty good. This end here is looking a little bit high compared to this end, so I'm going to adjust that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So if I go all the way around the edge here, there is a slight angle going this way, and that's great. It's not a problem. But it's nice and consistent. So we're going to move to the next wheel and actually start taking off pieces of this top to make a nice cab on top. All right, we're going to be switching over here to the 220 wheel, which is this one in the center. And I'm going to make a mark here in the center of the stone. I've dried it off a little bit. And then I want to make consecutive sort of ovals or circles, depending on what you're cutting. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this edge down, and we're going to make a mark all the way around the stone. Now, once you get the hang of this, you won't have to draw on it like this, but I'm just doing it so you can understand. This line here is going to match up with this line here. So we're basically going to be cutting away at sort of an angle like so. So we get more of a cab sort of shape. So that is the goal. And then we're going to then dress down the top. All right, so I've cut the edge down. You can see that it's gone down. I'm leaving about 3 millimeters here at the bottom for right now, from where the edge starts to where the bottom of the stone is. So right now, the top of this is just as flat as can be. So our next step, now that we have this angle, we're going to start rounding over the top until this portion here meets the center. And I'm going to do that by rolling it like this. And so that's the next stage. I'll keep rolling it across the stone like so. So here we go. Okay, and that's where I want to leave it right now. And so now we're going to switch over to the 280 wheel, and then that's where the magic starts to happen, where we actually start to really even everything out. Right now there's a lot of little flat spots and things like that, but this next wheel will smooth everything out and start to really bring up the luster of this stone. Here we go with the 280 wheel, and for this one I'm going to be pulling it across like this, and that will really help smooth things out. These 280 wheels have a little sponge behind them, whereas these are just diamond wheels. So they're very hard, there's no flex to them, where these will contour to the shape of the stone, and that helps you actually like really bring out the roundness and the luster of the stone. So here we go. Now when I'm doing this, I'm rolling it all the way across the top. That is the key. Often people will miss this top portion, and you'll get all the way to the 3000 wheel or the 1200 wheel, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, there's a big scratch in there. That's because you didn't roll over this 280, okay? So make sure that as you're doing this, you're rolling all the way over the center. I'm going to turn this up so we get a little more water going. One other thing to do is really look at the sides here. Make sure you don't have one side that's higher than the other. So you want to turn it this way, turn it like this. See, this is maybe a little bit higher. Just keep watching. It's very fine tuning, and you don't want to, push this too hard into the wheel and cause any flat spots. So just keep adjusting. All right, guys, before we get going, I just want to thank everybody for watching this channel, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos, and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to support the channel, I've been designing some t-shirts for all you rock hounds out there. So this is one that I'm working on, and if you look right up here, you'll see that I have a store, and all those proceeds go to helping make more content on this, as opposed to you donating some money and not getting anything. Get yourself a t-shirt. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, thanks a lot. Now I'm fine tuning this edge here. I'm starting to round it down just a little bit so it's not quite so, such a step up. So I wanna make this kind of a soft curve right here on this edge. That's why I'm running it along the edge here. applying the pressure as I'm going up. Okay, that's looking good. I'm noticing that this side right here kind of bubbles out a little bit too much. That's what I'm seeing. So I want to adjust it, bring this side down just a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit better about that. Fine tuning. There we go, getting closer. Feeling pretty good about that. All right, let's move over to the 600. At this point, everything's starting to feel pretty smooth. I'm going to check. Every once in a while, I'll just dry this off to see if there are any major flat spots that I see, and I don't see any right now that I need to worry about. Okay, we're going to move to the next wheel. All right, this is the 600 wheel. And this is a little bit smoother, so if you've ever had, like, you know, just a piece of sandpaper that's a 600 grit, you can feel that it's relatively smooth, and that's exactly what it's going to do to this. It's going to really start to bring out, you know, the luster and the shine of the stone, especially all this, like, crystalline structure here, all those pinks. And so we're going to turn this on. We're still going to use a lot of water, and we're going to be rolling once again across the top, and this will slowly remove you know, a portion of the top of the stone here, and you're going to see a significant difference as we go finish up with this one. Here we go. Now I'm rolling from the edge across the top and a little bit further. Now, one thing I like to do is kind of do a spin thing where I'm spinning it like this, and I drag it along this edge here and try to hit some of the top as well. So just kind of watch. It's a freestyle move. Now when I'm doing that, I'm doing it very lightly, and I'm just trying to hit any of the other little flat spots that might be on there that I didn't see by going a different direction, as opposed to this direction all the way around. Now I wanted to hit it this way. Very light touch. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. What I'm looking for right now is any sort of flat spots. I see something right there. So what I'm going to do is roll back over this. I'm going to look at it again. I see something right there. I don't know if you can see that little spot. It's a little grindy spot. That's probably one from one of the previous wheels. All right. Here we are, we're moving over to the 1200 grit wheel here, and this one just feels like paper, but it's amazing what it does. So you can see right now just how smooth that is looking, and that's just after the 600. So we're going to do the 1200 and I'll show it to you. All right, so for this one, I'm putting a lot more pressure on the stone, as I didn't really do as much pressure on a lot of these other wheels, but the 1200 I'm really able to apply a lot of pressure, and that kind of brings up the luster just a little bit more, and it also helps contour of the stone so that it's a nice oval shape on the side. So I'm really just working from the edges all the way up over the top. So I'm going to just keep doing this. It's really starting to brighten up. So I'm going to inspect this really well, and dry it off. And then if it looks good, then I'm going to move over to the 3000 grit wheel, and then we'll do the polish. All right, here we are. We have finished up the 1200. We're going to move over to the 3000 grit. And you can tell that this stone, just with the 1200 grit, this is dried right now. So, but you can see that it's getting this nice sheen on it. So we're going to go to the 3000, and that's going to bring it up to even a higher luster, and then we will do our final polishing, and then we should be done with this and ready to ship it out. One thing I want to point out is that I keep turning up the water so that I get a lot more water on this. I just want it to have as little resistance as possible, and to make sure that it can remove that like final little layer, thin layer around the top to really bring up that shine. So just to let you know, I'm using a lot of water. Okay, so at this point, yeah, that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do, there we go. This is looking really good. It was wet. Dry it off of my shirt here. There we go. And you can see that that has some pretty nice shine to it. So our next step is going to be doing the polisher. So I'll show you that in a second. And that will attach right here on the side. All right, so I've made sure that the wheels have stopped turning here, and this is my polisher. It's a felt wheel. There we go. This is a felt wheel, and what I'm using is cerium oxide, which is this stuff right here, and it is kind of a pinkish compound. And I'm going to attach this wheel here. There we go. Finger tight, and then I've already poured some of the compound into this cup, and then what I do is I always just have a spray bottle here, and I kind of just do this. And so the consistency that we're going for here is like sort of like a toothpaste kind of consistency, and then I just have this old sponge, and I kind of go like this, and dab some up like this. So while the machine is not running, I kind of just go like this, and they call this charging. You're charging it with the actual compound. I kind of rub it in there, and I will often give it a little spritz of water here just to get a little moisture on there. Now when you fire this up, it does have a tendency to shoot liquid towards you, so make sure you've got your protector here, your little water shield, and kind of do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on. You can see it shot a little bit off there. We're going to put a little more water into our compound. Mix that around a little bit. There we go. Mixing it up. Okay. So I've got a good bit on my sponge. Just an old sponge, like a kitchen sponge. You can just go like this and charge the wheel just a little bit more. I always start from the bottom and kind of the center bottom and then roll it across. So the wheel should be charged at this point, and then I'm going to change positions here and actually start polishing the wheel so I get a better angle for you to take a look at. Before we get going here, I just want to show you how I do the polishing. And so the way that I do it, I have the wheel spinning here and it's going this direction. I have the motor off just to show you, but this is how I usually do it. I usually start close to the center and then I roll out. So I'm moving across the pad as opposed to just staying in one spot, which will leave kind of a groove in your felt wheel. So you want to kind of work it this way. As you move out further from the center, the speed of the wheel is increasing. I mean, it's not physically increasing, but the rotations per minute are getting faster the faster you come out here. So when you're in here, it's easy to control. When you get out here, it does have a tendency to want to kind of grab that. So that's where our spray bottle comes in handy, and we'll just give it a little spritz. I like to do, there we go, a little spray. So let's fire this up, and then I will start polishing that, and then we will remove it from the dop stick. Now to get this center portion here, right in here, I want to make sure that this is all getting polished. Often that will be a spot that people miss, and then they'll get done and you'll see scratches. So when we've been going through all these wheels, we've been making sure that we hit that center. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. You want to make sure that you're removing all the scratches from the previous wheel. So we should have done that by now. So I think we're doing good. I don't see anything. But another technique is you can start here at the bottom and roll your way up as well if you're trying to hit specific spots. It's drying out a little bit, so we're going to give it a little more water. I'm just doing gentle pressure on this. And I'm rotating my dop stick like this as I go. Okay, I think we've got this pretty... I think we have this pretty shiny. So the next step here, I've kind of checked. I've worked around the sides here to make sure that I'm getting a polish on that. I'm going to rotate it. I'm using light and shadows just to see if there's any dips or anything else that I don't like. It all looks good to me though. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to kind of wash off the polishing compound, and then I'm just going to stick this in the freezer for a little bit, and hopefully theory is that this will pop off. If not, I'll show you another way to remove it. All right, so I just pulled this out of the freezer, and I gave it a little push with my thumb like this, and so it snapped off, which is what we wanted to have happen. Unfortunately, I got all this like green stuff on here. So what I'll probably do is just take a little knife and kind of chip away at this, or I'll warm up the stone and remove that. I'll show you the knife that I would use. Hold on a sec. I just have some of these knives around, and so what I do is just kind of go like this. And normally I would do this over something so that I could collect the wax, but you can see it scrapes off pretty easy. And if you can kind of get in here, you can pop it off in larger chunks. I'll do another one for you. Here's one. There you go. So that's what I would do. I'm not going to get crazy with that right now. I'll do it later. But I wanted to show you this is the piece that we have. So we'll send this off to Norway, and hopefully she likes it. But yeah, so that is kind of the deal. I would like to say that you know, the polishing is the biggest and most important thing, but actually all the wheels are. And so just want to make sure that you do your due diligence as you work through the wheels. But I think this just turned out just great. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Please subscribe if you found this helpful. And if you want to support the channel, buy one of those t-shirts and you get a little takeaway. So I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. I'm working on some agates, I think, next. So talk to you later. Bye.